tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I want to dance, but I can't dance, so it would just be embarrassing.
I absolutely would like to dance right into a nap. Just dance my little hips right onto a nap.
I mean, I'm still thinking about A Discovery of Witches, and I'm like, when can I start that?
Tonight.
I gotta finish one more book, I think. And then I can squeeze it in.
I can't wait to get back to Shrines of Gaiety by Kate Atkinson.
The problem is that the problem is that, first of all, I'm loving how much you're loving that book because it makes me happy because I've been hoarding her books, as have you.
Yep.
So hopefully that means when I finally decide to read them, I will also be in love. But the problem is I want to finish one more book and then I might just start A Discovery of Wishes all over again.
You should.
But then Jesus will come home.
And?
He always comes home like right in the middle of me being like fully introverted and then he wants to talk. Oh. Am I the only person who gets like really annoyed when someone there's like the K-hole version of introversion where you're just like you're in a zone.
I don't have that problem because we're like...
Because you're not a bitch.
No, that's not it. I don't have that problem because he hangs out in the great room watching TV, and when I'm reading, I'm either outside, in here, or upstairs. And when he comes in the house, he comes through the garage door, which leads right to the great room. No. So I don't come down or go say hi because I'm a bitch. No, just kidding. Yeah. No, like I don't go greet him.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like privacy in this house, which I didn't really notice until there was somebody
another body there.
There, you're like, wait a minute, there's literally nowhere for me to go to like even this space, it looks on camera like this is really like inviting. No, it's a hallway. Like
right. That's really the issue. The issue is you don't have enough separate spaces.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, he has his own space.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nice girlfriend.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Text him beforehand. Let him know. I'm getting ready to have a very introverted reader moment for like the next 3 hours.
Don't talk to me.
So I'm saying hi now for when you come home. I'm saying hi now via text. It's not gonna work. Okay.
But he has
I really tried.
I know you tried. He has this really uncanny ability. He will come downstairs, come home, need something, whatever. There will be a need for engagement when there's like 10 pages left in a book.
Oh!
And it is uncanny. He has this timing. And at this point, I'm just like, I just want you to guess how much I have left in my book. And he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yes. I was like, I don't know what it is about you. It's like you hear the nearing of the end of a book. And you're like, you know what? I have a question.
You know what it's called? Man timing.
Maybe it's what it is.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I want you to get into that book and just enjoy it. Just live your whole life in that book.
I'm gonna try.
Because I'm gonna live my whole life when I get back to Shrines of Gaiety. I've got like 80 pages left. It's so good though. It's so good. I'm really loving it. I think you'll like it too.
Reading, Naomi?
Oh, I wasn't. No, I mean yes, okay. But that's not what I was talking about. That's not what. Oh Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, anyway, I'm bringing to you
Okay, Naomi's very
um
tired. I'm very tired. Everybody be kind. That is all.
Be Kind, that is all. It's because I was reading that book earlier when I was at swim with Caleb, and it's on my mind every day, basically. But today I want to talk about very quickly stories from the tenants downstairs. Alyssa and I both read this.
Oh,
What,
yes, we
last
did
week,
both read
right?
this. Yeah.
Yes, last week, and this is by Sadiq Fafana,
Mm-hmm.
and it is interconnected short stories. And this really was a great little collection of stories to read. Also, though, like, it was kind of funny, but also a little stressful. Like, anytime I read about people like, oh, I gotta make rent, I'm like, yikes.
Yeah.
It felt really rough and really stressful.
It felt
And
really, all the stories felt very raw and real, and
that's why they were stressful,
each
because I've heard of
voice.
people having rent parties.
Hmm.
Rent parties. I've heard of people having rent parties. I was like, oh,
I mean,
that,
people do
yeah,
what they gotta do.
yeah. But my
At the
neck was
end of the
tight.
day,
You
the
know how I am about money.
schools. I know you are. The school stuff was like everything with that one whole story with the school and the superintendent or whatever coming and observing all the classrooms and like how close those kids got to pulling it off.
Right to the
I
very
I
end.
was like really rooting for those kids to like get
I was
through.
too. But then that one girl that had just lost was it her dad in the
Yeah, and I thought
shelter,
they were such
and just how
assholes to her.
cruel they were, and it was like,
Hmm.
you guys don't even have a heart. I mean, that part kind of broke me a little bit. I was like, wow, it's like, because sometimes you feel like non-brown and black people don't see brown and black people as humans, because
Hmm.
how could you be just so callous? That was a very sad moment. I
I
just
also
really felt for
think
her.
sometimes adults don't, in general, across the board, don't understand that bad behavior from children or what you deem bad behavior from children isn't necessarily because they're bad children or because they're being bad. Like there's a root to a lot of
Exactly.
things. And if you're just treating the thing you're seeing on the surface and you're not trying to
Mhm.
figure out why the thing is happening, then it's you're always going to be at odds.
It's
Like there's a
true. It's
reason
true.
why that girl is like sleeping in class and why
Mhm.
she's, you know, just distracted from everything else around her. And I think a lot of the kids are just kind of like whatever, and some of them probably like get it, but it's the adults that are failing her in that situation because they're just
Over and over again.
over and over. And like
Yeah.
I don't know, that was really sad. And there's a lot of things in that book that are really sad, a lot of the stories. But there's also funny and uplifting and
Right. And I like the story with the girls started their own little business, and she's like,
yes,
I'm gonna tell the news people, and they're gonna come out here and interview us. And
yes,
you're like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Like, I was on board with them.
yeah,
So this book, it gives you a lot of emotion: sad, happy, hopeful, angry. It was really a great collection.
it was.
I have not looked this author up, so I don't know if this is
I
his
feel like that's his
debut
first.
or if he's got other works, but I
Why do
really
I feel
enjoyed it.
like that's actually a debut? Because I feel like that's some of the reason why I requested the arc. I also don't know where
Maybe
that arc is
so.
right now. Oh, I
Well,
think
I
that
got
arc's
my
on my nightstand.
copy from the library,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna have to get my own, because this was rather good. It was pretty good, pretty good, pretty
yeah.
good.
That's
Highly
out from
recommend it.
that's out from Scribner, right? I
Yes,
feel
yep,
like
Scrivener.
Scribner is one of those publishers that they don't have a lot of stuff. Like whenever I get the requests, they're not like and they're not sending me like a long list. Like Tor sends me like a whole different list of imprints, and there's always a lot of things for like every month. Um, but like Scribner always has like a small list, right? But and a lot of it I might not want. But the things that I want usually turn out to be really good bangers. Like they are really good.
Well, here's what I realized: when I was working with Scrivener, they never had anything I wanted to read. Never. I was like, what is, like, very rarely.
I have
But
always kept them around because there's always like one little gem in there.
they've been putting out some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Some pretty good stuff, yeah. So Stories from the Tenants Downstairs by Sadiq Fofana.
Fofana. It
That's
was
what I
very good.
finished.
I really like that
Hmm.
one. I am nearly done with this, and this is what I'm going to finish before Jesus comes home. And this is what I told you to start listening to, madam. And that is The Anomaly by Javier Letelier. It's translated from the French. Uh, I probably shouldn't even be talking about this because I don't know when voting ends for this thing that I'm judging, but we're going to talk about it because I don't care. This is the last round. Come at me. This is a very weird, wonderful, like twisted sci-fi. Essentially, there's something happens on a flight, and there's all these people on this flight. All of their stories are connected. It's super weird. There's like
Mm.
a hitman, a Nigerian pop star, an architect. There's all kinds of crazy people, somebody, a dad, a mom, and their kids from Queens, and like all these people on this flight. It's random Air France flight flying to JFK, and it's just this. I don't even know how to explain it. I think this is why I felt okay talking about this because this book is so weird and great. Like the sci-fi parts of this are just wonderful. It is good.
Mm.
I'll read you the back because me trying to describe it and not tell you things is hard.
Yeah.
So, in their own way, the passengers of Air France zero zero 006 were all living double lives when they boarded the Paris to New York flight. Blake, a respectable family man who covertly works as a contract killer, Slim Boy, a Nigerian pop star who uses his womanizing image to hide that he's gay, Joanna, a Black American lawyer pressured to play the good old boys game to succeed with her big pharma client, Victor, a critically acclaimed yet largely obscure writer, suddenly on the precipice of global fame, but about to start their descent into JFK, they hit a shockingly violent patch of turbulence, emerging on the other side to a reality both perfectly familiar and utterly strange. An ingenious, timely variation on the doppelganger theme, Anomaly taps into the parts of ourselves that elude us most. It is really,
Oh,
really interesting. That Blake guy is just crazy pants. And
wow.
I need you to read it because I need to talk to somebody about this and I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it and like ruin anything. But it's the kind of
Yes.
book that you want to talk about because it's just kind of like crazy and you're doing some like there's like some mental gymnastics that are happening. It's the themes and the plots that are coming up uh involve a lot of thought and some suspending of disbelief and also like
Hmm.
some like I want to say double think, but that's not what it is. But it's like you're kind of like doubling back on your own thoughts. Is kind of what I mean. So like
Right.
uh, it is very
Huh.
interesting. I was not into it in the beginning, and then like as they revealed more information, suddenly I was like, "Oh, that's what we're. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. What I've got it on. What is it? Script. Where did I find? I found this somewhere.
Mhm.
I have it. So hopefully it's something I can listen to without feeling like I need the actual book.
I've predominantly listened
Yeah.
to it. I did get it out of the library because I wasn't sure how I was going to consume it, but I've predominantly been listening to it because I'm behind on my last round of judging. I think I have to finish this and like one more book. So
Okay. All right. That sounds interesting.
it's really interesting. And it's a shitty book for me to pick for this because I don't know how to describe it to you without ruining it, and I'm trying not to ruin it.
Right. I'm excited. I'm
It's
excited.
interesting. It's good.
Okay. Here for it.
Anyhow, what are we here to talk about?
We are here to talk about, well, we're going to give you like a little preview of some of the books that sound interesting to us to read that are coming out in for winter for 2023. So,
22,
or I guess
23.
winter 2022, 2023. So, we're
Yeah.
going to give you a few books to maybe add to your list. And of course, let us know what's
Mm-hmm.
on your list for winter front list releases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me get out my little
So
note here.
you got your note.
I got my note. Got my note. You want me to go first?
Yeah,
Or you
go
want to go
first.
first?
I can go first, whatever you want to do. Um, Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. It's coming out in the very beginning of November, November 8th.
Mm-hmm.
A magical detective dives into the affairs of a Chicago's divine monsters to secure a future with the love of her life. This sapphic period piece will dazzle anyone looking for mystery, intrigue, romance, magic, or all of the above. Um, I'm here for it. There's
Mm.
looks like there's vampires. I mean,
Yes.
I'm here for it. It's a short novella from Tor.com. It's getting really good reviews. I have a hard copy somewhere in the stacks behind me, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it.
And what's that name? What's the title again?
Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk.
Awesome. I'm excited. There's so many. The friend list has been really, really good this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. All right. My first one is Urgent Matters by Paula Rodriguez. And this is coming out November 3rd, 2022 from Pushkin Press. It says a train crashes in the suburbs of Buenos Aires, leaving 43 people dead. A prayer card of Saint Expeditus, the patron saint of urgent matters, flutters above the wreckage. Hugo, a criminal on the run for murder, is on the train. He seizes his chance to sneak out of the wreckage unsuspected, abandoning his possessions and, he hopes, his identity among bodies mangled beyond recognition. As the police descend on the scene, only grizzled Detective Dominguez sees a link between the crash and his murder case. Soon he's on Hugo's tail, but he hasn't banked on everything from the media to his mother-in-law getting in the way. They
Oh,
call this an electric Argentinian literary thriller, and I'm here for it. So
I'm
that's
really
Urgent Matters
liking.
by Paula Rodriguez.
I'm really liking Argentinian writers right now. They've
I
everything
like
I've
some
picked up
more to read.
so far has been really good. What did we read together so far? Tender as the Flesh,
Under
Elena
the Flesh,
Knows.
Elena
I
Knows.
feel
What
like I have
else?
a few more. And I've started the Brickmasters or Brickmakers or
Brick
whatever that
Breakers or something. Brick
Salva
Makers.
Salva Amada or something like that is the author. I started that book. It's well written, but it's hard. There's a animal harming scene like really close to the beginning, which is why I haven't finished it yet because I had that hurt me, and it was a galgo, so it was a greyhound, so that really hurt me. Uh,
Mm,
um, but anyway, yeah, no, they've been really good. They really
yeah.
have.
Yep.
Um,
Books and Bow has a list, of course, and we'll need to just go through it at some point.
we're gonna have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, my next one is at KJ Parker. It's a short novella, and it's Pulling the Wings Off Angels. This comes out in
Mm.
November something or other, 15th. Um, and this is a madcap adventure brimming with the ethical quandaries and sardonic wit of The Good Place, and by World Fantasy award-winning author KJ Parker. Uh, Long ago, a wealthy man stole an angel and hid her in a chapel where she remains imprisoned to this day. That's the legend. Anyway, a clerical student who's racked up gambling debts to a local gangster is given an ultimatum: deliver the angel his grandfather kidnapped or forfeit various body parts as payment. And so begins a whirlwind theological paradox with the student at its center, in which the stakes are the necessity of God, the existence of destiny, and the nature of angels. So
Mm.
Prospero's Demon is the only KJ Parker that I've read so far, and Prospero's
Mm-hmm.
Demon was fantastic. That was another novella.
Yeah.
So I very interested in KJ Parker.
Mm. It sounds good.
Hmm.
Also, that book title, I kind of love it.
Pulling the Wings Off Angels. Yeah, it sounds really good.
Yes. Okay, my next one is Age of Vice by Deepti Kapoor. I hope that's right. And this is out from Riverhead on January 3rd, 2023. It says, in New Delhi, 3 a.m., a speeding Mercedes jumps the curb, and in the blink of an eye, 5 people are dead. It's a rich man's car, but when the dust settles, there's no rich man at all, just a shell-shocked servant who cannot explain the strange series of events that led to this crime, nor can he foresee the dark drama that is about to unfold. Deftly shifting through time and perspective in contemporary India, Age of Vice is an epic action-packed story propelled by the seductive wealth, startling corruption, and bloodthirsty violence of the Wadia family, loved by some, loathed by others, feared by all. I just want to get in that book.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
It really does. This is kind of a throwaway given, but Hellbent, Lee Bardugo. It's out January 10th. It's the second. Uh, in Is this supposed to be called Alex Stern? Is that what it's supposed to be called?
I think
Because that's
so.
how Goodreads. Okay, whatever. I mean, I guess that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. I don't really think I need to tell you anything about it. But fantastic. I can't wait. I know that not
I'm
everybody.
excited.
I know
I'm gonna
not.
reread Ninth House right before Hellbent comes out, just so I'm fresh with what happened in the book. And I'm excited for this series. I think it's a
Me
very
too.
fun series to read. I had a good time with
I
Ninth
enjoyed
House.
it. I enjoyed Ninth House, and Ninth House made me want to explore New Haven, which is not something I think I ever thought I would ever say in my entire life. New
Mm-hmm.
Haven is not an
Mm-hmm.
exciting city, folks, if you don't know what
Right.
New Haven, Connecticut is like. Uh, so the most exciting part of it is probably Yale and the
Right.
IKEA. Like, so, so the way she
Right.
described like the Yale areas of New Haven actually kind of makes you, or made me want to, or it made me appreciate the fact that this pretty much rundown city has an actually sort of rich history
Yeah. Yeah.
behind it. So,
Yeah.
and I just
I know.
like it. I liked Galaxy Stern.
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
it was
I'm
fun.
sorry, Jess Owens. I fucking liked her. I don't care that you don't like the book.
Yeah, she hated it, but she's
She
gonna read
hated it.
Hellbent because she's
Because her
invested in a
patrons
particular
are gonna make
character.
yes,
No,
and
she's
her
invested
patrons are
in a
gonna make her
particular
do it
character.
too. Even
Yeah,
if she
so
wasn't
she's gonna
invested, her
read it.
patrons would make her read it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Listen, people
hope,
out there,
I
we
hope
love
that
you,
Jess
but
ends up loving this.
I am not holding out hope.
I'm not,
I'm
but
not.
wouldn't that be an interesting turn of events?
I don't know. I'm gonna tease her all day long if she hates it, though. I'm just gonna tease her for fun.
I hope Jess is listening. Anyway.
Me too. We love you, Jess. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. So if anybody wants to read Ninth House and Hellbent, just let us know.
I'm thinking I'm gonna do a reread of Ninth House like December, mid to
Mm-hmm.
late December,
Yeah, I just want to like reread it like a couple weeks before Hellbent comes out.
because it comes out like January 10th. So somewhere like if I can
Mm-hmm.
start focusing on it at the end of December, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think the same. Speaking of series, one of my favorite series that just brings me so much joy, the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. Book 8 is coming out on January 10th. It is called Lost in the Moment and Found, from Tor. And I'm so excited. This series, whenever I read these books, they just make me smile. So, Lost in the Moment and Found, let's see what it says. A young girl discovers an infinite variety of worlds and the standalone tale in the Weber Children series. If you ever lost a sock, you'll find it here. If you ever wondered about a favorite toy from childhood, it's probably sitting on a shelf in the back. And the headphones that you swore this time you'd keep safe, you guessed it. Antoinette lost her father. Metaphorically, he's not in the shop and she'll never see him again. But when Auntie finds herself lost, literally this time, she discovers that however many doors open for her, leaving the shop for good might not be as simple as it sounds, and stepping through those doors exacts a price. If you like Portal Fantasy, this is just it. This is it. This just gives me all the feels, and I've read the series probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, and I'll read it again before book 8 comes out, and I will love every minute of it. Are you muted?
She doesn't reread anything.
Yeah,
I
she wants
think.
to point this out. I do reread sometimes. I
You like?
am more likely to reread something in a series for sure.
Um, I have not read We Were Children.
You don't have to,
I don't know why I'm not drawn to it, but I'm not.
because everything is not for everybody.
It may also be because there are multiple very tiny novels and they're all very expensive.
That is true. And I pre ordered these. I've bought
And
all
they
of these
are
at full price.
tiny. But did you see? I think I tagged you in it. The other
Martha
love of your
Wells.
life, Martha Wells is coming out with a full length novel in
Mm-hmm.
a new series.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm here for it.
I know you are. That's why I tagged you.
Yeah, buddy. I'm here for it. But also give me another murder bot, ma'am. Give me another murder bot.
So I feel like you might have this on your list already.
Okay.
But I have this on here because I'm still not sure if I like this author or not. So like this is kind
Oh,
of so it's the new Grady Hendrix, which is coming out
it's not
January
on my list.
14th. Oh, okay. So this is How to Sell a Haunted House, which just on its own sounds a little bit more engaging than Final Girl Support Group did. And
Mm-hmm.
also again, Jess, her yeah, she maybe not want to read that. But I what is the stupid book? The Southern
The
Guide to
Southern Book
Vampire.
Club's Guide to Slaying
There we
Vampires.
go. There's too many words in that title. I did not dislike the writing. I did not enjoy the overall experience of reading the story. Does that make sense? I don't know. There was like, why is he sucking off like the inner thigh? Like, where's the weird Nazi kid? Like, there was there were choices in that book, and I just wasn't totally here for it. But
Yeah.
the writing wasn't terrible, and I still want to read the IKEA one, and I still want to read
My best
the
friend's
My Best Friend's
exorcism.
Exorcism, which we did find at McKay's for not a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
either, which I thought was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
steal. But this one just sounded interesting, so I'm gonna try to give Grady Hendrix some more tries because I don't think I dislike the author. I just think I wasn't as much as a fan of that particular book.
So
Every
I've
childhood. Hmm?
oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
I said every childhood home is haunted, and each of us are possessed by our parents. When their parents die at the tail end of the coronavirus pandemic, Luis and Mark Joyner are devastated, but nothing can prepare them for how bad things are about to get. The two siblings are almost totally estranged and couldn't be more different. Now, however, they don't have a choice but to get along. The virus has passed, and both of them are facing bank accounts ravaged by the economic meltdown. Their one asset, their childhood home, they need to get it on the market as soon as possible. They need the money. Yet, before their parents died, they taped newspaper over the mirrors and nailed shut the attic door. Sometimes we feel like puppets controlled by our upbringing and our genes. Sometimes we feel like our parents treat us like toys and or playthings or even dolls. The past can ground us, teach us, and keep us safe. It can also trap us and bind us and suffocate the life out of us. As disturbing events stack up in the house, Luis and Mark have to learn that sometimes the only way to break away from the past. Um, this is a really badly worded sentence. Luis and Mark have to learn that sometimes the only way to break away from the past, sometimes the only way to sell a haunted house is to burn it all down.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like I might like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only
I'm
read
curious.
I've only read 3 of his books. I read the Southern Book Club one first, which I loved. I devoured that
Hmm.
book. I read it in a day. I loved it. Then I read My Best Friend's Exorcism. Read that one in a day. And I don't know which one I love more. It might be My Best Friend's Exorcism. I don't know. And I read Horror Store. I like it, but I didn't love it like I did the other two.
I just like the fact that someone has written a book that is a horror book set in IKEA.
Yeah. Yeah.
That alone will get me to continue to at least attempt to like you as an author.
Yeah. It was good, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like most days I feel like My Best Friend's Exorcism is my favorite one. And then Southern Book Club is a close second.
Well, I will get there eventually, and I will let you know how I feel about My Best Friend's Exorcism. And
Yeah.
it's not that I think that Southern Book Club blah 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 was bad. It's just I didn't really enjoy the choices that were made in the story. They did
Yeah.
the little Nazi kid just distracted me. Why was
People
this
had
kid
other issues with that
so
book.
into Nazis? Why?
But I mean, there's always one. Come on. There's always some weird kid who's into some weird stuff. We all have one from our childhood. We all have one.
I know, but it distracted me. Like, it distracts me in real life. It distracted me.
I
And then
loved
the
it.
way that this vampire is eating people, like, did we? I don't know. Are we subverting the genre? I don't know. It just was weird to me.
I liked it. Oh
I
man,
know
you're
you
making me
did. I
want
know
to
you
read it
did.
again.
I know you did. I loved the book itself. It was a beautiful book, but I don't have it anymore. I unhauled it. So
Yeah. But I definitely had a different experience reading my best friend's exorcism. Like that book was nostalgic for me. It was hitting a
but
lot of spots.
there
It was
isn't a
like
little
when I
Hitler
read them
kid in it,
all.
is it? Is there?
No,
Okay, then I'll
no.
read it.
Remember reading them all?
Yes, the mall was just pure nostalgia.
That's the
Which,
kind of vibe and feel I was getting when I was reading my best friend's exorcism.
if you grew up in the 80s and even the 90s, I will give you that. Like, you need to read them all. You have to. I don't even remember who wrote this book.
I don't either, but that book was so
It is.
good. And
I
I
can't
worked in a
remember.
mall when
I
I was a
can't
teenager. I was
remember.
feeling, oh, it was so good.
I don't think I can remember like anything about the book other than the fact that that book was just like pure like feels. Like that was like
It was.
nostalgic feels, 80s vibes, like
Yeah.
a fluorescent neon lit dream. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah. So those same vibes and that same feeling of nostalgia, that's what I had when reading my best friend's exorcism. So it's high on my list of, yeah, I had
All
a good
right.
time reading that book.
Well, my really good friend who recommended Betty to me, um, he really loves my best friend's exorcism and horror store.
Oh,
So
nice.
perhaps we've never discussed Southern Book Club, blah blah blah. So I don't know how he
Oh,
feels about that one.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Anyway, I haven't read Final Girl Support Group, but I'll read it at some point.
I'm not opposed to reading it. It's just like it's not. I'm not actively seeking it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. I
Mhm.
feel that. Okay, next on my list, I'm very excited about this book. Okay, it's called
Okay.
Decent People. It's Decent People by Deshaun Charles Winslow, who is the author of What? In West Mills, a book I have recommended to basically everyone I know in my life several times. He is coming out with a book, and this is something a little different. And it's coming out from Bloomsbury
Okay.
on, what is this? January 17th, 2023. Okay. All right. So, in the still segregated town of West Mills, North Carolina, in 1976, Marion, Marva, and Lazarus Harmon, three enigmatic siblings, are found shot to death in their home. The people of West Mills, on both sides of the canal that serves as the town's color line, are in a frenzy of finger pointing, gossip, and wonder. The crime is the first reported murder in the area in decades, but the white authorities don't seem to care or have any interest in solving the case. Fortunately, one person is determined to do more than talk. Ms. Jo Wright has just moved back to West Mills from New York City to retire and marry a childhood sweetheart, Olympus Lymph Seymour. When she discovers that the murder victims are Lymph's house siblings and that Lymph is one of West Mills' leading culprits, she sets out on a transformative manhunt to prove his innocence. I'm just here for it. Decent People by Deshaun Charles Winslow, out January 17th. I'm so excited.
I love
I'm
when you're
so
excited
excited.
about stuff. It makes me happy.
And I'm excited to
Um,
be back in West Mills.
So I have another sequel that's coming out. It's called The Cage of Dark Hours. It's Marina Lassiter. It's the 5 penalty series, and the
Oh,
first one was, oh my God, why does my brain not work today? The Helm of Midnight, which was
yeah.
I know that a lot of people don't discuss this in like fantasy world. I really loved this book. The first book is just it's like you're chasing a serial killer. It's a first in a
Mm-hmm.
new trilogy. There's like
It was
death
interesting.
masks. It feels very like Victorian mystery esque, but set in a fantasy world. The cover is stunning. It like was vibes for days for me, and I absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. So book 2 is finally coming out, and this is reminding me that I have to respond to Tor and say I freaking want an early copy of it.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Because I loved that series so much. I thought that was so good. So yeah, that is The Cage of Dark Hours, which is book 2 in oh my god, I can't remember the stupid name of the series. The 5 Penalties. That makes me feel like there should be 5 books, but there's only 3. Um
Right.
and that comes out on April 3rd. No, what? No, I'm on the wrong page now. I went back to get a name. Hi, friends. I am an idiot. It comes out on Valentine's Day, 2/14. So
Awesome. Yeah, that was a pretty good book. It was
I
different, I
enjoyed it.
thought.
It was really different. I don't know. It hit like a lot of different kinds of genre loves that I have, so I enjoyed it. I know it's
Yeah.
not for everybody, but it was for me, and that's what matters because I'm the one
Well,
reading the freaking
no
books.
book is for everybody, folks. That's
I know.
why you shouldn't get your panties in a twist if someone doesn't like your favorite book. Just saying.
I
Okay.
mean, unless it's like Jane Eyre and you guys are just wrong. But
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm not even going there. All right, my next one is Daughters Beyond Command by Veroniki. No, Veron. I don't know how to say her name.
Veronique.
Veronique.
I don't.
Veronique.
I don't know.
I
I'm
think
just.
it's Veronique. No, I'm
I'm
looking. I
trying.
think it's Veronique. Daughters Beyond Command by Veronique Olmi. Translated from French by Alison Anderson. I think it is Veronique. Thank you. And this is coming out January 17th from Europa Editions. Okay. And absorbing tell of a story of 3 sisters amid France's rapid transformation in the 1970s. 3 sisters were born into a modest Catholic family in, I don't know, some province. Sabine, the eldest, dreams of an artist's life in Paris. Helene, the middle girl, grows up divided between the bourgeois environment of some other province and the simple life led by her parents. Mariette, the youngest, learns the secrets and silence of a dazzling and crazy world. In 1970, French society is changing. Women have emancipated themselves whilst men have lost their bearings, and the 3 sisters, each in their own way, find ways to live a life of their own, a strong life far from the morality, education, and the religion of their childhood. I don't know, it's a vibe for me. I'm into it.
Sounds
I'm
interesting
into
though.
it.
It does sound
Yeah.
interesting.
So that's
Um,
Daughters Beyond Command by Veronique Olmi.
Sounds good. Also from Tor. Obviously, I've gotten a recent email from Tor, so I'm like deep in Torland here. Oh, ding dong! The witch is dead. Um,
I'm keeping that in.
so this book called I never heard of this before, so it was not on my radar at all, which is why I enjoy getting these
Caleb, that's your
emails from
pizza.
publishers. Ooh, I want pizza.
Oh,
Um,
you can hear me when I said that?
yeah, you didn't mute
Oh, I thought I
yourself.
muted myself.
No, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Well,
We'll keep
all
that
right.
in too. Anyways,
Okay.
the book is called Hopeland. It's by Ian McDonald. I've never heard of any of this, and it just happened to be on a tour list, and it sounds really interesting. It's a time traveling futuristic saga of a family trying to outlast and remake a universe with a power unlike any we've seen before. When Raisa Hopeland, who knows, fantasy name, determined to win her race to become the next electromancer of London, bumps into Amon Brightborn, tweed-suited, otherworldly guided by the grace in the middle of London. In the middle of a London riot, she sets in motion a series of events which will span decades, continents, and a series of events which will change the world. From rioting London to geothermal Iceland to the climate struck islands of Polynesia, from birth to life to death, from tranquility to terror to joy, Race's journey will encompass the world, but one thing will always be true: Hopeland is family, and family is dangerous. I don't know what this is, but for some reason, I'm like, I need to read you.
And what was that called again?
Hopeland.
Hopeland.
And that is also out
Interesting.
on February 14th, so Valentine's Day.
Very interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm
Mm-hmm.
intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My next one is Hungry Ghosts by Kevin Jarrett Hussein. One of the two. And this is out February 7th, 2023 from Echo Press. All right.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm looking for where the actual description starts. Goodreads, I want you to like organize this a little better for me. Give me like paragraph breaks.
You know how much I
Okay,
hate
it's
Goodreads.
I know. From an unforgettable new voice in Caribbean literature, a sweeping story of two families colliding in 1940s Trinidad, and a chilling mystery that shows how interconnected their lives truly are. Trinidad in the 1940s, nearing the end of American occupation and British colonialism, on a hill overlooking Bell Village sits the Shangor farm, where Dalton and Marley Shangor live in luxury, unrecognizable to those who reside in the farm's shadow. Down below is the Barak, a ramshackle building of wood and tin, divided into rooms occupied by whole families. Among these families are the Sarups, Hans, Sweta, and their son Krishna, all three born of the Baraks. Theirs are hard lives of backbreaking work, grinding poverty, devotion to faith, and a battle against nature and a social structure designed to keep them where they are. But when Dalton goes missing and Marty's safety is compromised, farmhand Hans is lured by the promise of a handsome stipend to move to the farm as a watchman. That's all I'm going to read. That's just a whole lot they have going on there. But I'm intrigued. A new voice in Caribbean
Interesting.
literature. I'm here for it. Let's see what it's about.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still deep in Torland. So there is a Tor.com novella, The Crane Husband by Kelly Barnhill, which has a stunning cover if you see it. I have it over in the corner, but it's too far away for me to grab. Um, this is a raw, powerful story of love, sacrifice, and family. Mothers fly away like migrating birds. This is why farmers have daughters. The 15-year-old teenager is the backbone of her small Midwestern family, budgeting the household finances and raising her younger brother, while her mom, a talented artist, weaves beautiful tapestries. For 6 years, it's been just the three of them. Her mom has brought home guests at times, but none have ever stayed. Yet, when her mom brings home a 6 foot tall crane with a menacing air, the girl is powerless to prevent her mom letting the intruder into her heart and her children's lives. Utterly enchanted and numb to his sharp edges, her mom abandons the world around her to weave the masterpiece the crane demands. In this stunning contemporary retelling of The Crane Wife, a Newbery Medal Award winning the Newbery Medal winning author of The Girl Who Drank the Moon and one fiercely
Hmm.
pragmatic teen forced to grow up faster than was fair will do whatever it takes to protect her family and change the story. Just sounds really good.
That does sound good.
Yeah. It's got a
The
killer
Girl Who Drank the
cover.
Moon. The Girl Who Drank the Moon is such a loved book.
Yeah. And so like I had it's it sounds really good. So that's The Crane Husband by Kelly Barnhill, and that comes out on February 28th.
Okay, I wonder if you have this book on your list. A Day of
Mm.
Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That's on your list?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
All right, this is out on February 28th, 2023 from Bloomsbury. This was a surprise. I didn't know this
Mhm.
was coming, so it was a shock and a surprise. And this is the author of The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is a very good
Mhm.
book that we all buddy read, what, 2 years ago now, yeah?
Yeah, and I can't believe that we had like no idea that this was coming out. Like I'm sure people did, but like I can't believe that this just like whoosh right over my head. I had no idea this was coming.
I hadn't heard not a peep. Not
And then
one
like
peep.
and then Bloomsbury was like, "Hey, guess what?" I was like,
Yeah,
"Motherfucker."
basically.
Yeah.
Basically, but like joyous news, like, oh yes. So I'm excited. So this is
Mhm.
a standalone prequel to the
Mhm.
Priory of the Orange Tree. Tanuva Mellum is a sister of the Priory. For 50 years, she has trained to slay worms, but none have appeared since the Nameless One, and the younger generation is starting to question the Priory's purpose. To the north, in the Kingdom of Ennis, Sabran the Ambitious has married the new King of Heroth, narrowly saving both realms from ruin. Their daughter Glorian trails in their shadow, exactly where she wants to be. The dragons of the east have slept for centuries. Dumai has spent her life in a Sychanese mountain temple trying to wake the gods from their long slumber. Now someone from her mother's past is coming to upend their fate. When the dread mount erupts, bringing with it the age of terror and violence, these women must find the strength to protect humankind from a devastating threat. I'm just so ready. I'm so ready for this book.
I feel like Prior of the Orange Tree made me want to read like more high fantasy and like less
Mm-hmm.
just more like YA fantasy. That's the book that made me want to really just jump into fantasy as a whole. And like a darker shade of magic, I think is what is like book that like I really loved and really made me just open up that fantasy door again as an adult. But to elevate that reading, it was Party of the Orange Tree. And I remember listening to that when we all buddy read that. That was like right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, it was.
It was right at the beginning of COVID.
Yep, it was.
All the things you remember.
I know. And it was so
Really.
good, and we all really, really enjoyed it. We were completely absorbed in that book. I loved it.
Yeah, and
I
don't let the
loved it.
chonkiness fool you, like scare you. It is good. Um,
Yeah.
my next one is Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. This is from I can't remember who this is from. It's one of the like Knopf people. I don't know if it's Knopf or another imprint. It's
Mm-hmm.
over in the corner. I can't see it. And this is a debut novel tinged with supernatural horror and a young Cree woman's dream led her on a perilous journey of self-discovery that ultimately forces her to confront the toll of a legacy of violence on her family, her community, and the land that they call home. When Mackenzie wakes up with a severed cow's head in her hands, she panics. Only moments earlier, she had been fending off masses of birds in a snow covered forest. In bed, when she blinks, the head disappears. Night after night, Mackenzie's dreams return her to a memory from before her sister Sabrina's untimely death, a weekend at the family's lakefront campsite, long obscured by a fog of guilt. But when the waking world starts closing in to a murder of crows stalks her every move around the city. She
Mm.
wakes up from a dream of drowning, throwing up water, and gets threatening text messages from someone claiming to be Sabrina Mackenzie. To be Sabrina, Mackenzie knows this is more than she can handle alone. So we're going to stop it. But it just sounds
Mm.
very dark, very mysterious,
Yes, it
very good.
does.
And that's out on January 10th. And it's short. It's only like 200 and something pages. It's under 300. And it's just, ooh, it sounds good.
Might have to get that one from my library. That sounds good.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. We're winding down here. My next
Yep,
one
and the baby
is
is crying. Okay, sorry.
the baby, the
The
doggy.
baby's
I don't hear
crying.
nothing.
Yeah, I
The
do.
next one, my next
A
one
mama
is
hears it.
Blue. My next one is Blue Hunger by Viola Di Grotto, translated from the Italian by Jamie Richards, and it's out March 14th, 2023 from Bloomsbury.
Mhm.
It says, after her twin's death, a solitary young woman leaves Rome for Shanghai, the city where her brother Reuben had long been dreaming of opening a restaurant. Teaching Italian to Chinese students, she meets a mysterious girl named, how would you say XU? You?
Shoe.
Shu? Okay. Who
Shoe.
was also running from a turbulent past, a violent father, an absent mother, and an extended family who wishes she'd been a boy. Shu's house is dingy and full of rotting food, like a museum of decomposing organic matter. In the gloom of abandoned textile factories and dilapidated slaughterhouses, the two discover an extreme dimension where biting, swallowing, and taking each other in are part of the erotic ritual. Yes,
Ew, what's
please.
that called again?
And this is Blue Hunger by Viola De Grotto. And this is out March 14th.
All right. So my next one is Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. She's
Yeah, yeah,
translated from
yeah, yeah.
Spanish. I believe she's Argentine, but I could be wrong there.
I think so.
Um, His father could find what was lost. His father knew when someone was going to die. His father had talked to him about the dead who rode in on the wind. The dead travel fast. Gasper is 6 years old when the order first came for him. For years, they had exploited his father's ability to commune with the dead and the demonic, presiding over macabre rituals where the unwanted and the disappeared are tortured and executed, sacrificed to the darkness. Now they want a successor. Nothing will stop the order. Nothing is beyond them. Surrounded by horrors, can Gasper break free? Spanning the brutal decades, yes, Argentine, the Spanning the brutal decades of Argentina's military dictatorship and its aftermath, Our Share of Night is a haunting, thrilling novel of broken families, cursed inheritances, and the sacrifices a father will make to help his son escape his destiny. Um, I read, oh God, which one of her books did I read? Her collection of short stories. Oh,
The
why
danger
I'm
of
blanking.
smoking in bed.
Yes, I didn't read the other one yet, The Things We Lost in the Fire. The dangers of smoking in bed were fantastic, and one of the things that I really liked about the dangers of smoking in bed is there were a few short stories that talked about people disappearing and the disappearances and all of that. And I am very fascinated by what happened in that period of Argentine, to history, politically. So it was interesting to see it sort of touched on in a literary basis. It feels very true to being Argentine, actually, to
Mm-hmm.
pay homage to that. So to have her have a full length novel that really is going to talk about, this is like 700 pages, to talk about these things, that occurred, and to do it in this like twisted, dark, haunting literary way. Just it has to. It's going to be amazing. She's really good if you've never read anything from her, and that is
We have talked
out.
about this book 3 times.
Have
That's how
I?
excited we are. I've talked
It
about that was
comes
on my
out.
fall list, and we talked about
It
it
comes
another
out in
time, and this is our
February. It
third
comes out
time.
February 7th. I have it on
In
pre-order.
the
I'm
US,
sure
it
it's.
does.
Yeah, I have it on pre-order. Is it come out earlier somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
I have it on pre-order at Blackwell's. I can't wait until February.
Well, shit. Hold on. You talk. I'm muting. I'm going to Blackwell's.
Okay, I am. Let's see. My next one is "The Sky Above the Roof" by Natasha Apana, translated from the French by Jeffrey Strachan. Strachan, and this is out April 4th from Grey Wolf. It all begins with a crash. One night, 17-year-old Wolf steals his mother's car and drives 600 kilometers in search of his sister, who left home 10 years ago. Unlicensed and on edge, he veers onto the wrong side of the road and causes an accident. He is arrested and incarcerated, forcing his mother and sister to reconnect and pick up the pieces in order to fight for his release. I'm here for that. I feel like this is going to be just a twisty, turny, grab you by the gut kind of a story, and I'm excited about it. Also, never heard of this author, so that's also exciting to me.
Grab you by the gutty. I am buying a book right now while we're on this recording, just so you know. Uh, let's see. The next one I have is The Spite House, which is also from Tor. I was trying to give us a break from Tor, but let's just keep going. Um, the Spite House is somewhere in here, and I need to find it. I hope you like my song. I think that I'm a musician. Um, Sorry, you caught me. I thought you were going to talk longer and I'd have more time to shop. So the Spite
Oh, I'm
House
sorry.
by No, you're good. Johnny Compton. Um, it is out on February 7th. Eric Ross is on the run from a mysterious past with his two daughters in tow. Having left his wife, his house, and his whole life behind in Maryland, he's desperate for money. It's not easy to find safe work when you can't provide references and you can't stay in one place for long, and you're paranoid that your past is creeping back up on you. When he comes across the strange ad for the Mason House in Deganir, somewhere in Texas, Eric thinks they may have finally caught a lucky break. The Mason property, notorious for being one of the most haunted places in Texas, needs a caretaker of sorts. The owner is looking for proof of paranormal activity. All they need to do is stay in the house and keep a detailed record of everything that happens there, providing the house horrors don't drive them all mad like the caretakers before them.
Mm,
That just sounds fun,
it kind of does. And that title
right?
again?
It's called The Spite House. Spite,
Mm,
Spite. Yes, Spite House.
interesting. Okay, that sounds good. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
my last one is "Carmen and Grace" by Melissa Koss Aquino, out from William Morrow on April 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Carmen and Grace have been inseparable since they were little girls, more like sisters than cousins, survivors of a childhood marked by neglect and addiction, and a system that never valued them. Far, for too long, all they had was each other. That is until Doña Durka swept into their lives and changed everything, taking Grace into her home, providing stability and support, and playing an outsized role. Maybe they meant outside, it's just a typo. In Carmen's upbringing too. Durka is more than a beneficent force in their Bronx neighborhood, though. She's also the leader of an underground drug empire, a larger than life matriarch who understands the vital importance of taking what power she can in a world too often ruled by violent men. So when Durka dies, suddenly, under mysterious circumstances, Carmen and Grace's lives are thrown into chaos. Grace has been primed to take over and has grand plans to expand the business, while Carmen is ready to move on from the shadow of Durka and her high expectations, and most of all, from always looking over her shoulder in fear. She's also harboring a secret. She's pregnant and starting to show, and desperate to build a new life before the baby arrives. Here for it. That is Carmen and Grace by Melissa Cos Aquino.
That does sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have one more? I've lost track because I just ordered that book from Blackwell.
I'm surprised you didn't do it when we talked about it in the fall show.
I don't know. I forgot.
Because I gave the US date and the UK date.
I'm sorry. I am chaos. Anyway.
I should have reminded you.
It's all right. You don't need to because I just ordered it.
We should read it and talk about it on the show.
It has been ordered, okay? I just have to remember to take it off my pre-orders for the US copy.
Yeah.
So that in February it doesn't show up and I'm like, well, now why do I have two of these?
Yeah, we should definitely read it and talk about it on the show.
Me too. Do I have one more that I need to give? How many have I given?
Who went first? You or me? That might be it, because you went first.
I don't remember.
I don't know either. Welcome to TBR Lowdown, folks.
You're lucky I know where I am.
Well, that's all I have.
Oh, I have another package coming. Anyway, sorry. I have many more, but we don't need to go through them. Did I go first? I did go first.
So you did. You went first.
We're good. I'm good. Thanks for going on this journey with me to understand the world around me. Thanks, friends. I appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Just be grateful you don't have to live with me. That is for our Lord and Savior Jesus. He doesn't.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Cheez-Its of Nazareth.
I love it. That's good. Let us know what you all are excited to read for winter 22/23.
And I promise to stop talking about Our Share of Night.
I mean, I think it's something we're both excited about.
I'm really excited about it. Every time I see it in my pre-orders over on Amazon, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that book's coming out. And she was doing some tours around Europe recently. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if she was in Spain when I'm in Spain, but she's not going to be in Spain when I'm in Spain. And she's definitely not going to be where I am in Spain and like this little fishing village.
Well, I have to thank Simon from Savage Reads. Since he's over there, he's had a galley for many months now. Mm-hmm. So I've been drooling over this book because he's had it for so long. I've just been like, I want this book. So it's thanks to him for putting that book on my radar.
Have you read any of her short stories yet?
Mm-mm.
So nope. They're really good. I would read The Dangers of Smoking in Bed, and then maybe we both can read the other one, The Things We've Lost in the Fire. There's too many books that are titled like that. It's confusing to me.
I know. Things We Lost in the Water, Things We Lost to the Water, Things We Lost in the Fire,
Things to Save from a Fire, Things to Do when you see a fire. Like, it's too much.
Fire! No.
Fire! It's too much. But the stories are really good. When you were telling me about Cursed Bunny, it gave me a similar potential vibes. So I feel like if you liked Cursed Bunny, just from what you were saying about Cursed Bunny, I feel like you'd like The Dangers of Smoking in Bed. Now I don't even know what the book is called.
Well, I'm sure I will because Books and Bow loves it.
It's good, and I love Books and Bow.
Yeah.
I love him immensely, and I wish we could be friends. Or though I don't know, does he go by he?
Them.
I love them immensely. I love them immensely.
Yeah, their personality I'm really drawn to. You know,
I think we'd have fun.
I really do too. I would love to just, peruse around the town and grab a coffee, pop into some bookshops and talk books and anything. They appeal to me as like, I want to be your friend.
I think that if it wasn't weird, I'd be like, come to Porto and let's go around Porto when I'm in Porto.
Oh, you should. You should.
The
And
weird
then
character. No,
say
that's weird
when
and
when
creepery.
they
I don't
when
know this
they
person.
when they meet up with you, then you say, "Excuse me, I'm going to have to FaceTime my friend because she's going to want to be a part of this." And then it gets even creepier.
Naomi, it's just creepy. It's just creepy. Parasocial relationships are weird. It is weird. Oh, by the way,
Well,
so you know how, like, remember the year that you guys bought me that really beautiful Folio Society edition of Rebecca, and Jesus bought me that really
yes.
beautiful Folio Society of, and you know how one of
Yes.
my subscribers bought me the 80th edition of Rebecca? Jesus, I showed
Yes.
it to Jesus, and he was like, God damn it, what is with people? I was gonna get you that for your birthday.
Oh no, we've that's so funny.
Poor Jesus. He always wants to get me Rebecca things, and everybody else gets me Rebecca things before he can get them for
Oh, that is so funny. Well, whoopsie.
me. Oopsie doo. Whoop de doo. Oh, you know what I do need? I
Whoopsie.
do need to add to our list here for
What are releases?
no, for our book hunt for McKay's. I need I need a Jane Eyre that I can write in.
Oh, okay. Okay, put it on the list.
Yeah, because all of my Jane Eyres are
Put
like
it
nice.
on the list.
My old
Yeah.
copy that was like busted. I don't have. I actually don't even know if I have it. All of my copies are really nice. Every copy of Jane Eyre I have is not one you annotate.
I might have to go on Friday when I'm off. I don't think I can squeeze it in tomorrow because I'm just thinking when I get back, it's going to be late. But if I wait until Friday, I can go early when they open. You got until Friday. So update your list.
The list is being updated. It
Okay.
is happening. This is what it's like, friends. This is Naomi and Alyssa.
This is what we do.
This is
Book
how
rec
we play.
time.
Oh yeah, we have a point to being here. So I'll go first. That's fine. I read now 2 T. Kingfisher books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really like I think this is like a new fave author.
Oh, I love it for you.
So a tour sent me an arc of Nettle and Bone, and I just didn't get to it because we've been around here for a while. I don't get to anything in a timely manner. But this was really I just read it like a couple weeks ago. This was so funny. It is like a fairy tale. You've got a princess. So there's 3 princesses. The first sister gets married to this prince and she dies. So then they marry the second princess off to this prince, and she doesn't die yet, but she and then they send the third sister to a nunnery because they don't want anything to screw up this alliance, basically, with this that they've made through this marriage. That's why they keep marrying the
Mm-hmm.
daughters off. Um, so they don't want her like going and getting married and having some other heir or doing anything. So to like protect lineages, so she goes off to a nunnery and she actually has a gay old time. Like she has a good time
Yeah.
because she's not like really a nun, but she's just kind of like there, and she like gardens and hangs out with the nun that does the like healing and stuff, and it's she's having a good time. Meanwhile, her sister gets pregnant and has a daughter, and that doesn't go well, and then she gets pregnant again, and like after a couple like random visits going back to her sister, she realizes how ruthless and brutal and bad this prince is, and there's not a lot that she can do about it, she thinks, because there's this whole alliance and all this other stuff, and if she screws that up, then there's going to be unrest for her people, right? So she just kind of takes it into her head that she needs to like kill this prince. So she
Mm-hmm.
assembles this like weird group of like fairy godmothers and like some guy who was like drowning, and perpetually drowning because he was found doing something with the fae. There's like all these like random
Hmm.
creatures and fantasy world creatures and mythological creatures and stuff in it. And they just kind of go on this journey. There's a bone dog. There's like a dog made of bones. Uh, that
Okay.
it's just it's weird and it's funny and
Yeah.
it's feminist and it's just a good time. Like, is it the most earth-shattering book in the world? No, but it was literally a good time. I chuckled. I just sat there doing my diamond painting, listening to it, like
Yeah.
chuckling because it's funny. Like some of the characters are really funny, and the same thing happened to me when I read What Moves the Dead because there was this one little old lady. She was funny. She had some good one-liners, and it made me laugh. And
I
I
love
had a
that.
good time. It's just a good time. So if you just want a good time, Nettle and
I
Bone.
love
I
that.
really enjoyed it. It's not very long. It's not your like usual fantasy or usual fairy tale like fantasy. It was good.
I was just watching one of Mara's videos, and she was just saying how she's really gotten into that author, and she is going through their backlist
Yeah,
and really having a good time.
there's a campiness to things at times. There's a lot of wit. It's like simple stories that you can relate to that have kind of a feminist bent to them. Like the women tend to
Yeah.
be kind of badass. And they're just good. They're just like a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that for you. I
Yeah,
love that for you.
it's good for my
I
mental health.
I I thought they were a relatively new author. I did not know
No.
they had quite a lot of books in their catalog, so that's great.
Yeah, they have a lot of books in their catalog. I think I saved almost everything I could find on Scribd just so I had it
Mm-hmm.
like available to me. I think they're just new to Tor. I think Tor picked them up for Nettle and Bone and What Moves the Dead, and that's on Tor Nightfire.
Okay.
But I don't know who was publishing their books prior to this.
Right.
But it wasn't Tor.
Maybe they were self-pub.
Perhaps.
Okay. Okay, well, this is a book that I sort of talked about before because I was reading it, but I have finished it, and it's Sirens and Muses by Antonia Angris. And I gotta tell you, I really loved this book. So we're following four artists that go to this very hoity-toity art school, and I really fell for these characters. So you've got Karina and Louisa. Karina was born in New York, comes from a very wealthy family. But
I don't
her
come from a very wealthy family.
parents but her parents are going through some trouble. They're going through a divorce and things get very messy. And so she's kind of dealing with that. She's also dealing with some like mental health issues. She struggles with I guess what seems like coping at times. She has had a couple of mental breakdowns. She's also bisexual, and she finds herself really falling for Louisa, who is not from New York. She is from Louisiana, but she considers herself Cajun, and she's not poor, but she's also not wealthy. You know, she does okay. Her mother is also an artist, like an at-home artist, but she's a teacher in her day job, but she, you know, paints and stuff at home. And she's a really wonderful woman. She's got this fantastic grandfather, and I really love their relationship. And Louisa is also bisexual, and she and Karina kind of, you know, get together, and you know, they're trying to figure out, you know, themselves and their bisexuality, and they're trying to figure out this new relationship with one another. And it gets a little intense because Karina starts dating another one of the students, Preston, and he is an artist who, what I feel like is he doesn't really have confidence in himself to like be a painter or sculptor. So he's more of like a what they call like a Photoshop artist, and he tries to be very like political in his pieces or very controversial. But like on the outside, you know, us outside people, it's like, what are you doing? Like you're not in the right arena here. We see you trying, but it's not working. He's also kind of a douchebag. He's also very jealous of Karina. Karina is a very very talented artist. People call her a genius, basically. And I think he feels threatened by that, but he's also just just increasingly becoming more like seduced by all of her womanly wiles. He's a little bit obsessed with her. but jealous of her at the same time. And at the same time, also kind of almost like to ride off of her coattail of her talent. It's a very strange dynamic. So Louisa's looking at Karina like, I thought we had something going on, but you're still carrying on with Preston. So that gets a little messy. So they have to figure out their way around that. And then there's this professor. His name is Thomas. No, Robert Berger. Now, Robert Berger knows Karina because he used to date her mother when her mother was kind of cheating on the dad. Don't worry, the dad's a cheater too. He's had several dalliances. And so Karina has these memories of her mother and Robert dating, and she rather liked Robert. So she's got all these fond memories of him, but he doesn't really recognize who she is as a young adult. So Robert used to be a very well-known, somewhat controversial artist, and now he's teaching at this college. And he has his own little journey of realizing that he's been a real douchebag to a lot of art students, and he kind of lost his way in his art, and he wants to get it back. And he's had some real humble moments in this book, which he really needed. So, long story short, you really fall in love with all of these people. You were completely sucked in the storyline, and it was very well written. And I had a great time reading Simers and Muses. I highly recommend picking it up. It was great. I can't hear you.
I think I have it on my Kindle. Sorry, I was typing something, so I didn't want you to hear it and then get mad at me in 3 weeks when you edit this episode.
It was great.
I have it on. I think I have it on my iPad to read. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
It's really good. I mean, I think, yes, this is also a debut. Some of these debuts coming out this year have really kicked butt.
They really have. I feel like you need to read Sally Rooney.
But which one to start?
I think she gets better every time she writes. So, Beautiful World, Where Are You is so good. And I still think it's the thing that you would really like the most of hers.
Yeah.
Normal People is really good. Conversations with Friends was fine. But there's so much growth between like Conversations with Friends and Beautiful World that, I don't know. Maybe start from the beginning and work your way up.
Maybe.
Then you go backwards. I don't know.
Sometimes it's a little scary going backwards if the author has had like a lot of growth and progression in their writing. And if you start with their best, and then you move back, like maybe I'll start at the beginning.
Because what she does in Beautiful World, Where Are You, she doesn't do, like structurally, she doesn't do in her first 2 books. So you're not going to, if you read that and you think that books are going to be like that, that you might be disappointed that they're not. That they're much more like straightforwardly written books without these other little interludes sort of between the straightforward moments of plot.
Yeah. Okay. Then the beginning is probably the way to go. I should probably play it safe on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Go Conversation with Friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, I think you'll like this too.
I probably will. It sounds like a book I would like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like being in the art world. It's fun. I've read a lot of books surrounding art over the last couple years.
You should read the Steve Martin book that I read recently.
Object of Beauty?
Object of Beauty, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should read that one. I think you'd like that one. That one's really good. And it's really, read it physically because it's got all the pictures in it and stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about that book, and I find that weird because I think it's really good.
Well, they did when it came out, because I remember.
It's just old.
And I wasn't even on this internet stuff, but I remember hearing about that book.
Well, I feel like more people should still talk about good books just because they're not new.
They don't like to all the time.
That's a discussion. Oh, I guess, unless it's Book Talk that wants to talk about a book that was popular 3 years ago.
5 years ago.
Like it just came out.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I don't know if it's just the people that I've been spending more time looking at on Book Talk, but like my Book Talk has gotten less shitty, but I think it's because like I don't watch a lot of book talk, and the people I must be putting my eyes on,
Yeah.
I'm putting my eyes on them because they're actually reading things that I would like.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, when I'm on TikTok, I'm just on my For You page.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of book talk stuff that pops up.
But the stuff that does pop up for me is very aligned with what I'm reading or what I might like to read, as opposed to maybe a couple months ago when stuff showed up. It was much more like generic book talk stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on over in book talk for real. I don't really
I don't know if
know.
want to know exactly because it's just a new area for there to be drama. And actually, Instagram feels pretty chill right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go to TikTok for books.
No, I
I
go to
just go
TikTok
for the
to cry
funny
over the
TikToks.
plight of like Iranian women. My TikTok is like trying to diagnose me with mental health disorders. Um, it's just really incredible, like doom scrolling things from the news and just funny, stupid TikToks and dogs.
Mm-mm. My TikTok is all fun. I do not go over there to feel sad. It is fun because I'm
I
just
don't go there
and I
to feel
share.
sad. I just go there and then I
I'm
feel
just
sad.
I don't know. I'm not getting the sad stuff. Maybe it's because too, like, they see what I'm sharing from TikTok to my stories on Instagram.
Yeah, so they
You know
send
what I
you more.
mean? So they just
Yeah,
keep sending me all the funny stuff, which I like.
no, I get funny things. It's not all doom and gloom, but there's a lot of it. It can get a little
Yeah.
overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want that on my TikTok. I watch the news a lot. That's enough for me. I don't want my
I
TikTok to
don't
be.
really watch news. I'll skim through headlines, but I don't really watch the news anymore because
Yeah.
it was making me too depressed. Like years ago, I stopped religiously watching the news because it was making me depressed. I
Yeah.
like pared it down, like
Yeah.
immensely pared it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
my TikTok's fun. I don't know. Book talk, whatever's going on. Hope y'all are living it up. Just have a good time. Whatever you're doing over
have
there,
a good time.
just
Do
have a good
you?
time.
There's some new feature where you can link books or something like that, and I don't know if it's just Penguin Random House books or like everything, but Penguin Random House was talking about it. So they're the publishers are co-opting it real hard. Real hard.
Well, I'm gonna say this. It's the same thing. Like, everything is good until marketers come in and f it up.
Mhm.
The same is gonna happen with they're gonna come in and f it up.
Well, have you seen what's the fallout of that Sam Smith thing with that new single?
No.
So he was teasing a soundbite of like the chorus of his new song. I think it's called Holy. And that was going on for a few weeks before they dropped the song.
Uh huh.
And two things happened. Before they ever even dropped the song, people got tired of it because it was
Oh, I
playing
heard
in
someone
small
talking about that.
snippets. It was playing like you heard like, 15, 20 seconds of the chorus over and over and over again. You were already tired of the song. It
Yeah.
was already an earworm. It went past its thing. So it was already played out by the time they actually dropped and released the song. And then when they released it, apparently, I haven't listened to the whole thing, but apparently people are upset because the best part of that song was the bit that they put in,
Of course it was.
and the rest of it's bullshit.
Of course it was.
So like it's like they're not even using the juggernaut that is TikTok well.
Yeah. That's funny.
So it's
I
been an
saw someone talking
interesting like
about it.
social
Yeah, but it was
experiment.
like a 2-minute video, and it's like, oh, that's too long to share my stories, and it's not funny. Next. So yeah.
No, I watch them. I think it's funny. I'm very fascinated by TikTok and the good and the bad of TikTok, the dramas of TikTok.
I don't know why people act like any new social media platform is going to be different than, like, it. They all start
They're all the
in the
same.
same. There's it's just
There will be
it's the
something else.
same thing.
There'll be something else.
You know what I mean? Things start off and hardly no one's on it, and then it blows up, and then that's when the crap starts, and then it gets like just this crazy beast of a thing, and then it settles down and cools out, or it
And then there's
dies.
a new one. And then there's a new one. Somewhere there's a new one.
Yeah. Like, do
So.
y'all know how many Twitter clones there were before, like, Twitter won them all out?
Mhm.
There were like 5. Like, it's all the same. It's so funny.
But we're old, so it's different. And we're old and have seen all of these, so. But anyway. Anywho, I don't know what that has to do with anything. We're just rambling now.
I mean, you know, whatever. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. We're
done. No, I'm tired. You made me tired somehow.
I've been so animated today.
I know, but you said I wasn't allowed to yawn because you're tired.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't look. You know, you yawned and I yawned and it's all over.
Anyway,
we need a nap, folks.
We can't nap. It's 5:30. Oh, I could nap. You can't nap.
I mean, I could nap. You know? Yeah. I could nap. Like, I could eat. I could nap.
What the fuck is this episode?
Maybe I should title it, I could eat.
I could nap.
That's the show title. I could eat. I could nap.
Here's some books.
Oh, man. We are really a one-of-a-kind team. All right, folks. That's it. We're out of here. We got to go.
We need to end this. But just final straw. Go. We're done. Goodbye.
Yeah.
All right.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.